Well, the name of this video is tripod. I looked up pod in the dinosaur thing. It says it means foot, so means 3 foot. So, well, I can figure out this episode's about a extinct dinosaur with 3 legs that can lift a lot of weight. Okay, we're going to walk out here and see what this man is doing. He seems to have a table full of things. What are we doing today, Darren?
Well, we are building a tripod. As you can tell by all the parts, obviously a tripod. And what will we do with the tripod? We'll build a lifting device out of the tripod to pick up heavy things we don't want to pick up, just physical strength.
Is this just a lightweight one, or will it lift any weight?
Well, we're not 100% sure about how much it'll lift, but we think it can lift some weight.
Are you say each one of those you were telling me will lift 3,000 pounds? So 3 times that would be 9,000. So yeah,
I think we'll be able to put some power through this.
So it'd pick up small children's toys or something.
We can definitely pick up kids and toys both together.
All right, what are we going to do first?
So let's put a leg. Let's build one leg first.
All right.
So I'm going to grab the conduit or the C channel.
Folks, I think we got that from Home Depot, and it's made for electrical old lines to go in the middle of it. It's a structure, but it's very strong. It says a rating of 3,000 pounds, and that is from Harbor Freight. And that is, I can't think of what the name of it is, but
it is a D-ring receiver hitch.
Okay.
Pretty tight, but I think with a little convincing, we can get them on.
All right. So it's that close. It's not.
She's pretty, yeah, I think it's more like paint and a little bit of roughness on some of the metal. So I'm going to look for a convincing device. So what we're going to do is use a tripod building tool number 307A.
I don't think that's true, folks.
As a whacking stick.
Is it going to make a lot of noise?
Like I always say, for all you guys listening on the earphones, make sure you turn them up really loud. I'm kidding, as always.
I was just hoping I bought the right size.
Oh, I mean, I think so. I think they're the same. They're the right size. I'm also going to try to do one other thing if I can find it real fast. I'm going to put a little clamp on it, see if I can crush it. Maybe it'll go in just well, that'd work. Let's try this. It's just a wood clamp. I just want a little bit of forcing that leg to be just a touch smaller.
Well, what's strange is before it fit really easy when I did it. So that's what's so strange.
But I think we're close enough. I really do. At least I hope so. If not, this will be a really short video. See what I'm saying, Pop? It looks like it's wanting to go in.
Okay. I wonder if the edges are that maybe flared.
That's what I'm kind of wondering. So,
Did it go on?
it went on.
All right. Piece of cake, folks. Piece of cake.
It's like I was saying, I think it's just the...
Before I did that, I built him one that was not this good, but I didn't have that problem. So it must be the powder coating he's thinking or the paint on it.
Or there might be just a touch of a flare.
But I think it'll stay on there even without bolts, but we're going to put bolts through it. It said 9/16, so it's hopefully we'll go, the 1/2-inch bolts will go through it.
Yeah, worked just fine.
And folks, we're going to put them on the top and the bottom. The top will be where the pulley goes and the connectors to make the top of the tripod. And then we're going to put them on the bottom. And we're going to put them on the bottom because if you're in softer ground, this loop right here can be staked into the ground through that loop. It can lay like that, and it won't scoot. Concrete, you could put a piece of an old tire, or you could get one of those any kind of skid resistant thing and put it on there and bolt it through that opening. So we got options on doing it both for hard surface or for soft ground. Not that he would have mud or anything. Piece of cake, piece of cake.
Pizza cake.
And I didn't even know they made pizza and cakes, but I guess they do.
They had stole that from Phil. That pizza cake. I don't know where he got it from, but I thought that was funny.
Okay, this is the bottom, or vice versa. Either works either way. He's going to encourage it to go where it needs to go. And I'm going to stand on the end of it here. He said I needed to use my weight. I'm going to throw my weight around.
You know, that's what my guidance counselor told me I'd be good for in at my last year of high school. Said you had a great career in ballast and creating carbon dioxide from oxygen. So I felt pretty important.
Man. He said you'll go far, and the farther the better, or what was that?
Yeah, he said no, farther.
No, I can still see you.
I was like, he's encouraging me. Let's see something here.
And he was guiding you to what? I'm just...
Away from his office, he kept saying.
I think he had several serial killers that he had worked with.
Alleged.
Excuse me.
Come on.
Hey, it doesn't count. They've only killed one. I mean, it's, you know.
Not serial.
Not serial.
What if they kill him at dinner time? Dinner killer?
I got it.
Bad one. Entree killers.
He didn't mention Cheerios or any cereal in particular, folks. Folks, this is an original design, so, but I do know it works because we built one before.
We have one secretly already in the oven. Like those cooking shows.
And we didn't even know it was expecting.
And what's funny is, cat out of the bag a little bit. This thing, we made one for my house. I pulled out old trees, stumps out with it. I use it all the time.
I heard you even pulled large animals into the air.
Many times I use them to, I'm processing. I have a couple pigs, so when I process them, I definitely use it. It's always worked well, and no problems.
And he lives in an apartment. I don't know.
Yeah, the deal is his neighbors hate me.
It looks like the neighbors would complain. He lives on an acreage, folks.
All right, we have one leg done.
Have the end right there or the top, either way. It works either way. And we got it on both sides, and that's Harbor Freight, and that is from Home Depot. Here comes the second one, and we will have a third here in just moments.
Remove the limited 90-day warranty.
It's got a limited 90-day warranty.
I don't think for the purpose we're using them for. So warranty might be voided.
I looked on the deal and it didn't say anything about tripod
building.
It was actually made for a trailer.
Huh. They don't even know how to make tripods out of trailers.
I know.
We'll have to figure that out.
Harbor Freight must learn various uses for their parts.
Again, we're not sponsored by Harbor Freight. We're not above doing it, though. It'd make our crazy a little cheaper on us.
What it is, folks, when he goes by Harbor Freight, something jumps out of his pocket called money and goes
straight to
jumps
him.
in his cart.
Straight to him.
We called him, he had a Harbor Freight addiction, but I think he's not recovered yet, though.
No. Well, they got their stuff, and it's pretty good, and it's cheap. The problem I have is that stuff I didn't even think I needed yet.
Well, things like that jump in my cart when I just walk by the deal pushing the cart.
Uh-huh.
Things will jump in it. I don't know how they operate making that do that, but it just seems to happen all the time.
I know. I wonder how much money they spend in the.
I think it's a new AI product they've got.
Yeah, just makes the stuff you may need jump in your cart.
Well, I've heard of salespeople, but I've never heard of it where the product itself just jumps in the cart.
This time I'm trying, and I don't know if this is better or worse. Yeah, make it a little easier to start.
It was a lot neater before you were pounding on it with that.
And hopefully
hammer.
I didn't give it an edge where it's even harder to put on.
You may make it where it doesn't like you if you hit it like that all the time.
That's what they say.
Folks, he says words when he hits his thumb. You may hear one here in a minute.
It'll be good words.
We call it hitting the wrong nail. That's the technical term for it. Yeah, I think that's going to be snug. Snug as a bug in a rug or something like that.
All right.
Oh. Oh. I think he could move it better if I took my foot off of it.
Was that?
He lifted me 3 feet in the air.
Be honest, once they get moving there, it's pretty easy. And like Dad said, he's bought some that weren't that hard to put on.
Well, I am a lot stronger than you are. I think that's what it was.
Well, that's because I bathe more often.
I say, get on there, and it jumped right on.
Just jumps right on there.
You've got to learn how to do that and point your finger at it. It's a father thing.
Now, if you don't have an official tripod tool like we have, other ones might work.
I put what it is. It's called a D-ring receiver hitch. Now, I did not know what that was, but I looked it up and I knew what I needed.
And see, like that one.
I said I need a tripod mount there, and the guy just stared at me blankly.
Really? You didn't do it on the tripod aisle?
I didn't find a tripod aisle there. I'm sure they may have had one.
Huh. Seems odd.
Some of our projects we do, a lot of people have not heard of.
Well, how could that be? They're so useful. Inventions that you can make.
I've heard that somewhere.
Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Try and do all the cliches. See, and like Dad was saying, you may not have the trouble we're having with this conduit or C-channel. Unistrut, there's other names for it. Because that last one just slid right on.
All right. I think they were flared at the end.
Yeah, I think they had just a little bit of...
I think their cutter was dull. Isn't that amazing how that bolt lined it up perfectly with that?
It's stout. I mean, it's pretty stout.
I think just by itself it wouldn't have come off, but the bolt's going to help it a lot.
Yeah, as tight as I've had to force it on there, I think it's probably hold. But
folks, these were not meant to be put together, and they're normally have never seen each other before.
They're not even acquaintances.
They have not met, but it was an instant marriage.
Maybe it's, how it was meant to be.
Someday they may pull up a stump together.
They've already done some great work up the house. Really, it has. I was fighting that stump I keep talking about for
he talks
years.
To his equipment. He uses endearing remarks if they're working well.
Usually I'm real quiet when they work well. Of course, I'm not used to that either.
When you said, I didn't even know that part should come off. Folks, this is a new invention. I've never seen anything like it from anyone. exactly like this. I mean, tripods are not new.
Dad invented the tripod.
No, I did not.
Dad, there was never a tripod before
tried
Dad.
to make a simple way to make something that would lift about 10,000 pounds.
I remember what you were saying. You were saying to your high school friend Moses, you're like, after that Red Sea thing, how about we, if we could make like 3 legs on 3 tree stumps?
You know what they did in school?
What?
They came into my classroom and made me move my dinosaurs out to the front. They said they're messing up the backyard.
You told me you did your college thesis on dirt. The new invention.
It was cooling at the time. The dirt was still the earth was still cooling. So he says that all schoolyards are required to be 5 miles from anybody's house.
It's weird how they don't build them anywhere near anybody's.
A guy could live across the street from a school, couldn't he?
Yeah, but you can't walk that way. You got to walk 5 miles the other way, uphill both ways.
And it's uphill both ways. Okay.
I mean, it's limits.
You've been talking to my dad, hadn't you?
Yeah. And it snowed year round.
In the summer too. That's what was.
I was like, well, was it? Did the snow? Was that good in the winter or in the summer when you're real hot? It's like, no, that was extra cold where it snows.
Okay, we have 3 of them together, and 2 bad jokes behind us. Maybe it's 3 bad jokes.
A lot of bad jokes behind us.
We've lost count. I'm sure you haven't, folks, but we lost count.
All right.
Okay, what's with the chain?
We had some mispurchases. They will not go to waste, but Dad was going to use this as a safety chain around the top third of the tripod to make it where it stays kind of in the same shape. But
it weighs more than the tripod.
Yeah, you don't forget you're picking it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to use this for towing stuff.
Okay, folks, we're building this for strong, but we may have overdid it with that because this is more of a guide, this chain right here. So we go on to a slightly smaller chain just to align the poles so they don't slip out and get out of alignment when you're setting them up in the air.
And we may have to upgrade that chain. We don't know.
Okay.
Last time we built it, we put a big safety chain that was in between this size and this size around the bottom. And to be honest, it got in the way a lot. So I hardly ever used it. So we're thinking we can have the safety and stability by putting it about the first third of the top of the tripod.
Okay, why don't we put the 3 of them together with this bolt here?
I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to make a little table space to make sure all 3 of them get on the table.
I just say get on the table, but they don't jump real high. I see he has to pick them up. They're getting lazy.
I don't like them tripods.
They call them tripods, folks, because there's 3 of them. I had to tell Darren that.
And pod mean feet? That pod mean feet?
I have no idea. I thought maybe it's something to do with pie for a lot, or something to eat or something. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to hook the 3 of them together at the top here. That will make them, hopefully they'll have the third of the weight that way on any one of them. And they're rated at 3,000 pounds each.
So pull the cotter pin out. Pull our bolt out. Put the cotter pin back on the table so I don't drop it.
I think that's the biggest one I could find. I know. Oh, okay.
I'll put the...
I never thought of that, folks. That makes it a little bit firmer in there now.
There we go. So let's do the same thing with this one.
And I may have done that in the past. I've just forgotten about it.
Well, when did you build the last one? It was a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, been a couple years at least. And I forgot how many of those are used, but I think you're doing it right. 2 on each.
And then put
those 2 together. If not, we will change it. What does it first go? It's memory. I can't remember. Memory. That's what it was. I have built this before, but it's been a couple years.
So now we have two together. Need a pin through it. All right. So we'll take the last one off.
You've been telling me times have been hard, Darren. My grandfather told me summers were so hot and hard during the 1929-1930, wolves would hitchhike by the side of the road and get a ride to the nearest creek for water. It got so bad, wolves could not make a living in the woods. They would make cardboard signs that said, "Work for food." My grandfather met one of the wolves that misspelled the word food. He spelled it with only one O, fod. Fod made no sense, so my grandfather had to give him a dictionary. He found out later a farmer hired the wolf to build a chicken coop. My granddad knew the farmer and went over to see how the wolf was doing. The farmer said he had to let the wolf go. "Why?" Granddad asked. "Did he do a bad job?" "No," the farmer told him. "He was great. Except he took breaks. Because of the heat, the wolf would drink a lot of water and would run to the only tree in a distant field to do his duties." "Did you let him go because he made a mess?" my grandfather asked. No, he was quite neat. Even took a shovel with him. He let him go because he was gone 15 or 20 minutes every hour. Times were so bad, the farmer just could not afford the breaks. Yeah, I remember times have been hard, Darren.
How hard have they been, Pop?
Well, okay, what are you doing now?
I am putting on the cleat on the last one. Now, do we want to hook it to this pin or hook it to this?
Hook it to this.
So I should have left that pin out and nut off. But
Well, that way you're hooking strength to strength. So I think that would be wise. If not, we may change it.
I might have to do a little bit of rearranging here. Let me.
Folks, this is not for the light-hearted lift. This is made for heavy lifting. So we're trying to make it as strong as possible. Just remember, get in the plane, not on the plane. And if you have a better idea on that top, folks, just send us a remark and we will definitely take the idea in consideration. As long as it doesn't fall down, that we'll listen to you. We hate falling down. That crashing sound bothers Darren a lot.
I'm kind of used to it now.
And all he's doing, folks, is tightening up that chain link that's usually used to put chains together. Just screwing that tight.
I didn't give myself a whole lot.
We wanted flexibility on that. We could have put a bolt through all three of those, and it would work. The problem that you run into is that you would have to anchor from the bolt, which would weaken the system because then the bolt would be the only thing holding up the weight. So that's why we're using three of these shackles instead.
Let's say, if you have a better idea, leave it in the comments. We may try it.
But we're trying to distribute the weight to all three sides and not through one point like a bolt would be through it. But yes, we could have put them side by side and a bolt through all of them and it would have worked. And I'm not saying it wouldn't. And you could use a pretty good sized bolt.
Dad's saying it wouldn't work. That's what he's saying. No, he's not.
And we're trying to avoid putting chain there. We could use chain also, folks. But we're just trying for strength. Not that we would overload anything. Or,
Well, that's honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. We know we'll be overweight. We'll put too much weight on it. Why? Because if it works and it's it's going to be a couple 100 pounds over what it should lift up, you're going to do it. At least I'm going to do it. And then I'll regret it because I'll break the tripod or break whatever I'm lifting with and be mad at it. But I know I'll try it because it'll be in the dark, in the rain, or in the cold, and you're frustrated. You're going to do it. So let's build it so it can handle almost anything.
folks, everybody's probably going to wonder why we're using such a lightweight rope. Well, it's rated for probably 250, 300 pound maybe of continuous weight. But for what we're going to use it for, just to test and everything, we're going to use rope. But down the road, we probably will use cable, and that would be rated in, we can get cable up to a couple thousand pounds pretty easy.
Well, we probably, right now, the weakest link in the build is going to be the rope. And to be honest, if we're going to pick anything up and we want something to break, we'll not be under our lifting, and we won't be underneath our tripod while we're lifting. So if the rope breaks, it's probably the safest thing to break. I'd rather break the rope than one of the legs. So we kind of put that in as where it's going to fail. But yeah, like Dad's saying, we're probably going to move up to cable soon.
And we're probably going to put a ratchet on it, folks, or what's it called, a windlass.
We're thinking about putting a windlass for like they have on sailboats and stuff.
And we're going to do percussion drilling well too, probably with this.
We'll just spoil all the secrets.
Oh, let it out. Okay, here's the chain we're going to use. He's going to put eye bolts in there that's going to go all around about a third down, and we may move it up and down. So it's eye bolts that got bolts on them, so we can change them out in different positions till we find one we like. And you could also put it right at the bottom for the safest part, but we think about a third down will work.
When we put them on the bottom, we ran into some problems. They were always in the way of the feet where we were going to stand, where we'd lift things. So
and what's going to happen, folks, is the chain is going to go right through the middle of that eyelet. This will be a guide for the eyelet, and you can put any size chain through there up to, I don't know.
What will fit? I'm going to get them about finger tight.
But we're just showing you that you can use much heavier chain if you're lifting something extremely heavy. And guys, we figure 3,000 pound each on these, and equipment up the top. I'm thinking you probably lift up to 10,000 pounds, but I wouldn't go that high. I mean, I wouldn't really trust it with that. But I think that'd be its max.
That's one of the reasons we also, like we were saying earlier, chose to give it its rope limitations. So we don't do anything, I don't want to say dumb, but that'd be an accurate term.
I think it'll lift your house. We could give it a try.
Well, that's what I was saying when we were building it. We're not planning on using it on something that's going to be too heavy. But I know when it's cold and dark and I have to get something done, I probably will. So let's build it more stronger. Folks, stronger than we'd hope.
It will pick up a lawnmower. It'll pick up anything heavy like that, or an engine block or something like that easily. But as he's saying, we sometimes do weird things with very heavy weights. And folks, we weren't doing this for economy. We were doing it for long life. And I would definitely paint it or put some kind of anti-rust inhibitor on all of it. We don't right now, but we probably will later time. But I think they are galvanized. So
yeah, these are somewhat protected. I don't know if they're zinc or they're galvanized, but we'll get the job done.
So as far as doing it immediately, you're probably okay.
And without me using the tripod assembling tool, the powder coat on that is probably good for a while. If you don't, hit it with a hammer.
Well, it's made for outside trailers, folks, so they get
a little weather.
They will weather. I think we gave less than $12 for those pieces, so they were pretty reasonable. And
Okay.
again, I will explain why we did these on the bottom. You'll see that the little things there will fit on well, loose ground that you could put a tent peg through so it wouldn't move out and make the thing splay out on you. So that's why we went with these on the bottom. But you could always put a bolt through there, put either a skid plate on there, a piece of metal, or you could put some rubberized something on it to keep it from moving on hard ground.
And if you think it's going to splay out from the bottom, you can always add a safety chain. Already built for you. So what I think I'm going to do, I think it'll be easier for me to pick this up, put it up, and then thread in the rope. I think that's it, rope, then the hook. I think that's about where we're at.
Okay, but we're not talking about your grandma's tripod.
You know how your grandma always uses that tripod all the time. I was like, Grandma, off the tripod. And she's like, no.
And folks, it's 10 foot in the air there. That'll be slightly less, about probably 9 foot by the time he spreads it out. But you see why the chain would be helpful in there. That way it wouldn't fall on his head.
And I'm going to put the safety chain, rope, and everything else up through here. Now that I'm a little bit sure it's going to stay up. Yeah, we're not 100% in love with the top. Maybe if we put a hook through each one.
Okay, folks, I think we're going to do a little bit more adding of those connectors at the top, so we got a little bit more loose and slopping up there, so you can hang that pulley down a little more straight down the middle. So, but other than that, I think we've got it pretty well showing you what it does and how to do it. And there'll be another edition of this. We're going to finish this. Have anything? He's got his thumbs up. Talk at you later.